Here is my book recommendation for learning yoga. I'm going to start with this one, which was my very first yoga book I ever picked up when I didn't know what yoga was. And this book, I taught myself yoga week by week, learning one posture at a time. So it goes through each of the postures, tells you common mistakes, the meaning of the posture, what it's good for, and this book is amazing. They go through more than postures, it's also breathing exercises, meditation, diet, and really this one I would recommend to start with. Next, this book goes more in depth on the postures, and I use this one when I'm wanting to teach more of variations and more specifics. Here on the side it says physical, mental, pranic benefits. Wonderful book. This one's still first. This one is awesome. This book, wow, it's really thick. It is a major resource. You can just look at the contents. There's literally everything about yoga that you could ever want to know, you will find from this book. I have not read everything in this book. It's bigger than a Bible. But what I like about it is that you can go to the back and they give, oh my gosh, so much stuff. They give you a practice program. So you can see daily practice program. You can not write, but you can see what kinds of things you want to achieve. And there's little sets of stuff that's put together. So within yoga practice, you could get lost. This is kind of like a guide for learning yoga on your own time, but there's substance keeping you in some sort of a track. This Shiva Sutras is more philosophy, and this teacher, Swami Lakshman Ju, is one of the last living students of a very well-known teacher of Shaiva Tantra. This book, highly recommend it if you're wanting to learn more yoga philosophy. This, invaluable. As you can see, wow, it's very well used, very well loved. I've carried this with me from India. I've actually bought it in India for 195 rupees, but it's available in print in the US. Dr. David Frawley. I ended up taking his Ayurveda course. This book, I really like it. It's teaching you more in depth about yoga, and there's a lot of information about things you can do in your life for bringing more health and vitality, more nutrition and activities, and you can find out your constitution. This book, these two together, I think you can really have it made and learn a lot. Next recommendation, I love Chris Wallace, is amazing teacher. This is this is the second book of his. The first book, also amazing, but I recommend this one for more philosophy. The translations are totally beautiful, and he really breaks it down so we can understand from a Western perspective. Wonderful book. This one, okay, if I'm being totally honest, these three books together makes a very wonderful kit for your yogic studies. This woman, oh my gosh, Kavita Chinayan, sorry, not Chaitanya, Chinayan. She's teaching everything that you ever wanted to know about chakras, the Kundalini. You can see a very well-loved book of mine also. I never get tired of this book. I highly recommend if you're interested to know more. This is really about the Sri Lalita Sahasranama. But before you get into chanting those names of the divine goddess, you might not be interested in all of that. But if you're not interested in the Sri Lalita Sahasranama, the beginning of this book goes into a lot of detail about things in yoga that have become very whitewashed. And this book tells you the real deal, like really what's it about. So I just want to show here the table of contents. So it's really, really great material. When we get into the part 2 is where we start getting into the Sri Lalita Sahasranama. So if you're not interested in chanting that, there's still going to be 12 chapters of things that every yoga student really needs to know in order to be adept with yoga.